someone's problem. And it's the morning vibe at least in Toronto, a very cold February 3rd. It is very cold out there. So if you don't have to, and from what I understand, a lot of the eastern part of North America is going through this cold snap. It's really, really cold out there, but we're going to make it happen. Actually, I have to go out in it and help a very, very close friend move some appliances. He bought some appliances and he needs me to help him move into his storage space. So pray that I survive the deep freeze. So let's do there's a little housekeeping things right now. As always, if you haven't, please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. And if you do it on YouTube, also hit the notification bell so that when new conversations are coming up, you get notified. Also, you can like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook. And, just bottom line, wherever you're watching this conversation live on the replay, please follow. Next up, yesterday on February 2nd, 2023, I had the opportunity in collaboration with Innovation Guelph to do the second of this 3-part series of how to podcast, and it's been getting great response. And thank you for some of the people of the Dr. Vibe family who joined in and made it an epic conversation. So part 3 is on February 16th, and it's basically an hour and a half of Q&A. So you can ask me anything about podcasting, So the link is there, and want to say thanks again for the support. And that is it so far for the morning. And it is the first Friday of another month. And one of our most popular friends it's an old song by a group called Aerosmith. He's back in the saddle again. We're looking forward to having him on. But let me some friends. Oh, good morning, Destiny Savory. Drinking tea from home today, too cold outside? Absolutely. And Destiny says, I'm looking forward to that. I don't know. Are you looking forward to the third part of the podcasting series? Or are you looking forward to our upcoming friend? I think you're going to be looking for both. And greetings, everyone. Great workshop, Dr. Vi. I'm looking forward to the Q&A. You are very welcome. All right. Enough about me. Let's get Wayne Harris back. It is Financial First Fridays with Mr. Wayne Harris. What is going on, Wayne Harris? How are you?
Let's go. Happy Black History Month. Black History Month. I'm excited to be here, Dr. Vibe. How was your week?
My week was, thank you for asking. And it's interesting. A lot of people don't ask me how I'm doing, which that's okay. But but it's nice when people ask, because I'm always asking people like yourself and myself, Wayne, during our journey, we're always asking how people are doing. And I'm not complaining, but a lot of times, not as many people ask in reciprocal how we're doing.
It's true, because they figure we have it all together. So why bother asking?
Oh, yeah, I have it far from all together. I just make mistakes and just keep on going. Persistence, right?
Big assumptions.
Yeah, but no, the week has been good. Spent, as I said, before we went live, I hung out with my dad a few days. He begged me for my jerk chicken wings recipe, so I succumbed to his twisting, and we did that. And it's been a little bit colder this week too, but that's all right. It hasn't been that bad of a winter, but yeah, that it's been okay, and helping a lot of people this week as per usual. And there's some upcoming opportunities for the Dr. Vibe Show and just for myself that are coming. So it's been good. How about your week?
My week has been pretty good. Yeah, I'm trying to stay in my goals. I set up some accountability for myself over the last couple of weeks, and I've read a book called The 12-Week Year, where I'm compressing.
Great book.
Yes. So I'm reading that book, and I'm putting my accountability for that, and it's been going pretty well. So every day I know what I have to do, and every week I know what I have to do, and every week counts as a month. So I'm compressing time and moving further and faster. And when I make a mistake, I recover quickly because I'm looking at it on a daily basis.
Well, you know what? A few things. This year I have a accountability partner. We meet every week.
Same.
Every week, and to the point we have a book of weekly goals. We write it down. And so this is my book for the year. So we do weekly goals. And the wonderful thing, he's actually a 2-time Emmy Award winner.
Wow.
And he actually So backstory a little bit, and some people may know it, may not. So on New Year's Eve, two huge events happened within the last 5 hours of New Year's Eve. First of all, I passed 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel.
Congrats, I remember that.
That was huge. And funny, so that's actually one of the things that happened this week. So I started fooling around on the back end of my YouTube channel. I have access on all these like stats, like when are most of your subscribers on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
So now I can be more strategic in posting replays, doing live shows. So I get access to that. And then he reached out to me like and saying, "Hey, do you have a minute?" I go, "Sure." And he goes, him and his wife have been accountability partners for the last number of years. And they said, you know what? They want to try something different. So each one of them said, okay, let's pick someone from our community to be an accountability partner with. So he chose me. I went, okay. and it was really humbling. Uh, no, I didn't have any imposter system. Humbling, not imposter system. I'm very humble, but we're having good times, offering great value and holding each other accountable. And it's really just even 1 month in, huge clarity, huge progress. And we're actually now thinking about like recording our sessions and just showing little snippets and putting it out on social media just to show, because he's got this guide and just showing how the power of, it's one thing to write your goals down. It's another thing to review them weekly with someone. That's when the real clarity and breakthroughs happen. So
yeah, having somebody else to let you know whether you're dealing in objective reality or delusion also
very well
helps.
put. Very well put. Very well put. So just before we get started, Destiny says you'd like to start your own podcast one day. Interesting thing, stats wise, that the number of new podcasts being launched per year is going down because people are realizing how much work it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are going in saying, oh, I can make money from my podcast. Very few do.
You have to know your audience
Yes.
and be on point is one thing, but on point with the production and all the talking is the tip of the iceberg. It's all
Mm-hmm.
the other things with production and just the sound quality that you have here at the Dr. Vibe show, the production quality, the graphics,
Oh
all the
yeah.
people in the background that we don't see that are doing things to make sure that when you come on, you're on point every time. I don't see any technical glitches with the Dr. Vibe show. It's always on point, and that takes
Time,
time
practice.
and
Yeah,
energy.
yeah. Just so people, if you're watching it, there is a new little thing now on the Dr. Vibe show. You see that little thing underneath my name and Wayne's name. So that's a new thing that just landed, and we got some more things. By Monday, there's going to be another new thing you're going to see. So we're always looking to make it better for the audience, because if you don't have an audience, you don't have a show. Well, you have a show, but you're just talking to yourself.
Agreed.
So definitely, Christopher Lawrence, we are fine. You owe me something, Mr. Lawrence, but I'm not going to tell you. Wassell says greetings. Thank you, Wassell. I actually sent Wassell Limited a video message yesterday. Actually, that was another thing I did this week. I took some time and sent about 15 video messages to individuals.
Yeah, it's another way to break through the noise that they're getting from normal channels.
Yeah, and
Makes sense.
and then the power of the pen. Yes, writing those goal downs is one thing. Saying them is one thing. Writing them is another thing. But then having that accountability partner, that's the top layer. So enough about our mundane lives. Oh, Christopher saying it's on its way. Okay, you know what I'm talking about, Mr. Lawrence. Thank you. All right, so let's get to it. So today we are chatting a very interesting subject about Black money culture. How do we culture the financial industry? So why do you want to attack this, especially during Black History Month? Culture, Black History Month.
Yeah, culture and Black history. Let me tell you, if you want to look at Black history, you can look at it pre-slavery or pre-colonial, and you can look at it during colonial times. You can look at post-colonial. So if you look at the first massive history, like going back from before 1619 all the way back in time, You had empires. We were running things, irrigation, paper, iron smelting, bronze smelting. We're doing our thing. We're just excellent at what we do, and we're running the continent of Africa and working our way into what they would consider to be the Middle East today, which was all Africa at one point in time. And we're doing our thing as a multiple cultures across the vast land of Africa. Great. Then we have a little glitch, a big glitch from maybe 1492 from Columbus up until 1965. Okay, big swath of time when we're scrambling. We're either working for free or working for very little. And every now and then we have those little shoots of green grass coming through the concrete where these people will do something that defies logic. Black Wall Street, Harlem Renaissance, Greenwood, all the different things that we would do despite what was happening to us. And we were resilient, showing that we could win no matter what they did. Can't vote, we win. Can't can't live here, can't live there, we win. Can't do this, can't do that, we win. And there's all these people that came through that tried to monetize their greatness, but because of the system not allowing them to do what they need to do, they never made the kind of money they were supposed to make on those inventions and those concepts that they were doing because of institutional racism and whatever you want to call it at the time. Great. Now, between 1965, which is my lifetime and your lifetime, uh, actually, I'm 1966, from then till now, okay, from then till now, yes, things are not as bad as they were, but they're not as good as they are for some other cultures, let's just say. Okay. So in the last 50 years, black money culture seems to have taken on a position of scarcity versus a position of abundance. So what does that mean? It means that people assume tomorrow is going to be worse than today, even though many of the things that were preventing their parents and their parents' parents from winning, they don't have those barriers. Yet they still act as if they do. So I'm going to give you one story, the story of the fleas in the jar. And the fleas are put in the jar, and the jar, they put a lid on it, enough for the fleas to get air, but not enough for the fleas to escape. And they jump 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 and they hit the lid of the jar. And they hit it and they hit it and they hit it and they hit it. And all of a sudden they start jumping half as high, a quarter as high, and they stop jumping. Then they remove the lid of the jar of the fleas. And the fleas don't even look up. They don't even look up because they're still the same fleas that were jumping to try to get out of the jar, but now they've lost their spirit and they're not jumping anymore. My question to the black community is where it relates to financial literacy and financial tools that are available to everyone. Why is it we're not educating ourselves in this area of life, money in a capitalist society? Why are blacks not doing the things they need to do with all the tools that are available to them to create wealth for themselves and for their families? That's my question to your audience.
So questions. I'm just going to put some questions out there, and people, please ask questions because
Please.
we love to do interactive. So I'm going to use my example.
Mm-hmm.
My parents didn't teach me a thing about it,
Right.
though my dad's financial house is pretty good in pretty good order,
Mm-hmm.
but he never handed down or passed on what like he was a saver, this and that, but he never passed it on. And I don't know why, and I'm not going to be hard on him about it, but this, what do you see are some of the reasons, or what have you heard, or what do you surmise or guess are some of the challenges, the blocks when it comes to this? It's almost like a chameleon going into solid. It's like, oh, I can't go there. It's
Right.
never talk. Is it because we've never had it? We don't talk about it?
It's interesting that you say that because what we're looking at is generational ignorance. All right. So what does that
Okay.
mean? It means that our grandparents saved
Yep.
and they saved under their mattress. Why? Because they didn't trust to put their money into institutions with people who didn't look like them, who may not have their best interests at heart. Okay, so the grandparents saved the money at home in jars, in cupboards, in whatever, saving. And they would get enough money to get what they wanted to buy, and they would go from there. They taught their kids, hey, those institutions that you want to go with that have those big logos and sponsor big sporting arenas and whatnot, we don't trust them. So the key word is trust. So you shouldn't trust them. So when they tell you to do something, they're like, they're trying to take my money. And there's a fantastic short video from South Park that talks about the banks and the banker, and the kid has $100 from his grandmother, goes into the bank, and the bank says, "So I'm going to do this for you. Put it in this, put it in that," and it's gone. He goes, "What do you mean it's gone? It's gone." Right? The bank just takes the money, and the money is gone. And says, "Sorry, please leave the seat. This bank is only for customers who have money to invest." But the guy just gave you $100. It's gone. Right? And it's such a great little snippet that I play for my team, because they need to understand that there's a heavy distrust for the institutions that most of us don't run, and most of us don't have senior positions in. But those institutions are saying, please, 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 forget about all the history, all the things we did back in the day. We will give you zero reparations. We're not giving you any apology, but please put your money into our institution. We're not those people anymore. And there's a healthy distrust. Then they have kids like you. And then you say, okay, who am I going to go with? I'm going to go with the green bank, the blue bank, the burgundy bank, the light blue bank. I'm going to go with the orange bank online. I'm going to do all these different things. But what I'm doing is I'm playing it super, super, super conservative. I'm going to do savings accounts. I'm going to do guaranteed investments. I'm going to do all these things that will not lose me money, as opposed to looking at the other side of the coin, which is I will do things that will make me money within my risk tolerance. But the risk tolerance among the people from the West Indies, I won't speak for people from other cultures. My parents are from the West Indies, your parents are from the West Indies. I'm going to focus on the West Indians, and their mantra is don't lose. It comes from a scarcity mindset. It's not about I'm going to invest to try to double my money in 3 years or 5 years or 10 years. It's how do I not lose my money in these institutions? And that causes people to make different decisions. And the reason they're making those decisions is because they don't understand the tools and mechanisms out there, and they don't want to understand them, which is even more baffling, because in a world of YouTube and Google and walking into a bank and talking to someone, if you want to go to the bank, or talking to someone like myself and the other people who do what I do, you can learn, validate, and vet the information from independent third parties. You can go to Chapters Indigo, you can go to Amazon and read what I'm telling you to be valid information. But for some reason, that's too much work.
Would it come down to trust and trauma?
Trust and maybe that should have been the title. That should have been the title of the show. That should, right there, Dr. Vibe. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'm a content creator, but because for me, and if you've watched the Morning Vibe a lot, that trauma word is so central to so many things that happen to us. Like, and again, not only to wealth creation, but again, people may not know. I say this: the greatest form of wealth is in the Black family. So if you're not getting educational foundation from the Black family, heck, you ain't going outside to get. And the trauma, I borrowed money from this relative, they're not paying me back. All that's under trust and trauma. So if we don't have it within our own, it ain't gonna. You're not gonna come to people like Wayne if you're not even having it amongst our own. So I like the trust. So when you use that, just say trust and trauma. You can just give me a little credit for that.
Shout out to Dr. Vibe. Listen,
Yeah.
my father and mother were together, then they weren't together, then my mother passed, and I was with my father, and then my father and I came to loggerheads, and I was on my own at 19. When I left home at 19, I didn't know anything about money. I had a savings account. I didn't even know about checking accounts. I had no credit card. I think I did get an HBC card. Shout out to HBC as my first credit card.
And Zellers is coming back.
Zellers is coming back, not with the restaurant.
No.
And I started learning about how to destroy my credit almost immediately by thinking I could nonchalantly pay back these bills when they came in. So I would see a bill, and the bill would say, you have to pay this by the 20th of the month. And I would pay the bill if I paid it. And my credit score was just dropping like a rock. All of a sudden, I'm in my 20s. Now it's time to buy a car. They say, your credit is trash. I go, what? They say, I want to buy a house. Your credit is trash. What do you mean? And I have to reestablish credit. So imagine having all the information around you, but not even being in a frame of mind to know that you're lacking information. You don't even know the information exists. So I want you to think about something. It's called the Johari window. Two psychologists, Joe and Hari, and they have 4 quadrants. So think of a 2x2, so 4 boxes. Bottom left is unconsciously incompetent. You don't even know you don't know. That's where I was. Unconsciously incompetent. I didn't even know, right? Then there's something called consciously incompetent. You know that you don't know. And you go out and seek information and take a course, get an advisor, read a book, do something. YouTube, Google, whatever you can do to get information. Then there's something called consciously competent. You know that you know, and you're getting decent results and you're adjusting along the way. And then there's unconsciously competent. Unconsciously competent means you're the goat. So Warren Buffett in investing is unconsciously competent. Like he just knows that he knows that he knows because he's in his late 80s, early 90s, and he's
Yeah.
been doing it since he was 10 years old, right? You don't have to be Warren Buffett to get a result. You just need to get out of unconsciously incompetent. You don't even know the things that are working against you. I didn't know that by not paying my HBC card, my credit rating was dropping. I didn't know that by telling, Bond, that telecom company that was trying to do bad things with my phone. The service was always bad. Only free minutes after 5 o'clock and all these
Uh,
sort of things. Remember?
oh
Evenings
yeah.
and weekends free. You remember that?
Yes, yeah. Even in weekend after 6 and weekends. Oh, hey, I used to work. I used to work for Telus Mobility, so I
Right.
knew all that stuff. I
Right.
knew it.
By buying text messages. You want unlimited text? You got to pay another $5 a month. Remember that? So
Oh yeah.
we didn't know what we didn't know, and it was in no one's best interest to tell us. So we just went about our business, blissfully ignorant. And then all of a sudden, adulthood kicks in, and you want to do things that adults do, like buy stuff and get someone to trust you to lend you the money so you can buy the stuff. And they're not trusting you because you have no character. And what
Yeah.
I mean by no character, it means your credit has been trashed, and your
Mm-hmm.
credit is basically your monetary form of your character. Your credit score is your character score from a credit and financial perspective. And we don't have a lot of knowledge in that area. And when I say we, 80-20. 80% of us are struggling, 20% of us got it figured out. So if there's
Yeah.
someone on here who has it figured out, congratulations to you. And the fact that you got that information from your parents or from someone in your life who intervened to stop the lack of knowledge coming to you. But we have to take personal responsibility for learning these things ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I'm a little disappointed on the family this morning because no one's asking questions.
It's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, but you know what? I'll blame y'all because probably if you're watching the Toronto, it's real cold and maybe you had to take your kids out to school this morning. You're just trying to thaw yourself out. But this is important stuff. Like it's interesting, Wayne. I
Mhm.
just thought about this. This is Black History Month, but there are not any, for lack of a word, symposiums other than Ryan, who's has his ACBN, so talking about financial. We're not talking about wealth. This is the month we should be talking about wealth creation of more than any other month,
Right.
right? But no, Aldafina comes in. Thank you. She says, all this is really resonating. We were taught to first to plant 2 trees, to cut another tree and engineer the base elements. Granny showed us to value nature and relationships over coins. She taught us to spend our money on others instead of institutions and break bread at tables we built from the food we cut down.
From the wood.
Oh, wood that we cut down.
Yeah, fair point. I love that. I love that comment. So again, I'm not going to get into to the nature of what the black family looks like in the last 50 years
That's another
versus
whole. That's a whole other conversation.
versus before the 1970s. A lot happened in the late 60s, early 70s to change the dynamic of the black family and what the black family looks like. And what changed in the 70s has perpetuated today to the point where 75% of black families are single parent families,
Yep.
depending on where you live. And that's true in the Caribbean and it's true in North America.
Yep.
And based on what I've seen, it's true in the other country because when someone leaves the West Indies, they go to one of three places: USA, Canada, or the UK,
Hmm.
and it's all pretty similar across all three geographies, where the mother has full control of the household resources and household economics, and the fathers, for lack of a better term, are absent in those discussions. 80-20 rule, and it's almost 80-20 in that space. So 75% single mom families, and we've been told that marriages break down for three reasons, and they're called the three ins. The first in is income. Okay, so that's the first in that
Yeah. I. Yep.
marriages break
Yep.
down.
Yep.
Right? People struggle with the money. Someone is a big saver. Someone's a big spender. Those two can't harmonize and can't get on the same page, and bad things happen. So income is the first in. The second in is a well-known one: infidelity.
Melody. Yep.
Right? So infidelity. So people will leave because somebody stepped out, and that's not their jam, and they're disrespected, and so on. And the third in is insecurity or jealousy.
Yep.
And a lot of marriages end on irreconcilable differences. And it has very little to do with income and infidelity. It has to do with insecurity, where people are jealous and people don't have trust issues and whatnot. So if you have insecurity, you start doing things like shadow banking. So shadow banking meaning that someone is taking money and they're putting it in a bank account for themselves because they're looking to exit, right? And you start shadow banking. So this is what I show my spouse, but I have a little bucket, a little war chest of
Mm.
cash for my exit when I'm ready to step out. So you see a lot of things on social media now in the
Wow.
black culture
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
about marriages breaking down and what a relationship looks like and what the man's role is supposed to be and what the woman's role is supposed to be, and then people will debate even if those two genders are there's multiple genders and all the different binary, non-binary. I'm still working through all of that. My kids are educating me on all the different terms, and so I don't disrespect them
Yep.
or their friends when they when
Yep.
they when they when they come through. And I want black people, our people, to understand that everything is a system. Everything is a system, right? Eating healthy is a system. Going to the gym is a system. Becoming an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, a plumber is a system. There's steps. If you take those steps, you will get those outcomes unless there's some kind of third party intervention that's going to stop you from doing it. And people have heard the stories of I did everything to become a nurse in some other geo, got on an airplane, came to Canada, and they told me I couldn't be a nurse. Right? This is the immigration tax you pay when you come here from a geo where they don't respect the paper. Someone comes here from a certain country, their papers are accepted, and off you go. Someone comes here from another geo, same paper, they're not respected, and you cannot practice whatever you are practicing over there, over here. You have to do a requalification. This is the immigrant tax. So when people hear these stories, they decide they're not even going to try because they don't want to go through medical school again to qualify. They want to go through nursing school again to qualify, and they decide they're going to become a PSW or something else.
Right.
Right? This is the tax. So when we look, getting this back to money is when you make those decisions to not do what you did where you were. You don't want to pay that price here again. You put yourself in a different economic category. You put yourself in a lower economic category usually, and if you end up there, your outcomes are going to be different for you and your family than they were wherever you came from. So you see this edge that people have where immigrants are hustling in Canada more than anybody else. And Canadians are like sitting back, relaxed. They've been here for 10 generations. They're chilling. But someone who just got here is hustling hard because they're going to school, they're
Absolutely.
working, they're driving Uber Eats. They used to do taxis. They're working 2 jobs. They're working in kitchens. They're doing whatever they can to sacrifice one generation so they can elevate the one behind them. And we used to do that. But now we are the kids of those immigrants. I was born here. I was born in Canada, right? So I'm first generation Canadian. My kids are second generation Canadian. They don't have that same. They're motivated, but they're not motivated out of scarcity. They're motivated because they've seen abundance, and
Yeah,
they want
that's a good.
it, and
That's a good.
they feel they
That
deserve it,
that that is good stuff. That
right?
is good stuff. Okay, we're gonna take a little bit of a break. Hopefully, people are gonna thaw because I think this is crazy. That I just want family to just get into the conversation today, but we're just gonna take a little bit of a break because we have a sponsor of today's conversation. So I'm just gonna bring them up right here. And let's do it right here. So, today's show is sponsored by Elemental Notes, providing customized herbal remedies support you in optimizing your health. They help the community take its power back health-wise. Looking to enhance your life from a health management perspective? Contact them at info@elementalnotes.ca or visit elementalnotes.ca. So that's a little quick thing we just put in there. And also, if you want to find out more about Elemental Notes, I'll just put there's their information: website, email, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. So thank you so much, Elemental Notes, for sponsoring today's conversation.
Very cool. Thank you. I
You're
appreciate that.
welcome. All right. And so the questions are coming in now. Thank you. People are thawing out. So first of all, great support. This lady is always on when Wayne is on. Fitness IQ Cam. Good
Yes,
morning,
yes, yes.
gentlemen. Good morning, Fitness Cam. Also, Donna Harrow. Good question here. Do you think the trauma that we spoke about prevents us from moving forward? Do you think as a people we need to heal first? Do you think enthusiastically accepting others' cultures financially or otherwise affects our success? Good question.
Great
And
question.
this and all relates to question. Donna is another great supporter of the morning vibe. Great question, Wayne. Take it.
Yeah, perfect. Keep that question on the screen because there's 3 questions
Yes.
there. I want to address all 3.
Yes. Go ahead.
So, do you think the trauma that we spoke about prevents us from moving forward? No, nothing prevents us from moving forward. It's a mindset shift. A mindset. You have to go from a fixed mindset that I can't do anything about my financial lot in life to I can, and there are tools and people available to help me move forward. So the first thing is there is nothing preventing you other than your own mindset that you don't deserve to let your money work for you as hard as you worked for it. I'll say it again. You have to let your money work as hard for you, at least as hard for you as you work for it. So there's nothing preventing you, but the trauma could be stopping you, but I want you to blow past that and try a thing, as people would say. Try a thing. I'm not saying give someone 100% of your money and then get Bernie Madoff or whatever. Give 10%. Continue doing what you're doing with the 90% and see if that 10% does what it's supposed to do based on what the person said, based on the person having the great credentials that they have and a track record and references of people who have used them and gotten good results. Okay, good. So that's question number 1. Do you think as people we need to heal first? I would say we need to heal in parallel, right? We can walk and chew gum. So we can heal, we can go get the therapy, we can go get the support systems we need, and we can do what we need to do in the financial markets, in the capital markets. We can do both at the same time. The people say, well, we got to wait for unity. No, we don't have to wait for unity. While unity is happening, we need to go on and do things that make things better for us. Vibe and I our parents come from 2 separate islands. Vibe and I live in 2 separate cities, but Vibe and I vibe.
Absolutely.
Right? Why?
Absolutely.
Because our um, our standards for how we run our life and our character for how we run our life is
Mm-mm.
very much aligned.
And that's not island specific.
And
That's
that's the island
just
specific.
exactly.
Right. So
Exactly.
because of that, we know we can work together, and we have worked together for almost 30 years. And I can say this safely. I've never had a negative word from Dr. Vive to me or from me to him in almost
Same
30
thing.
years.
Yeah. There
Right?
is a like, and this is the thing. And just to interrupt Marine for a bit, my dad said to me, from the day, from very young, says, son, I don't care if you're a bum on the street, always treat people with manners and respect.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's what our culture, whether it's culture to each other or financial culture, manners and respect it,
Right.
grow it, make it better. Go ahead,
Anything
Dwayne. Sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. Anything I say to anyone about money, I have third party independent validation for what I'm saying to you. So that it's not just Wayne's word you're taking for, it's me and all the companies that I represent
Yeah.
that also have that information. So you can go take that information, go to Google University if you want to, and validate what I'm saying. Okay. Do you think enthusiastically accepting other cultures, financially or otherwise, affects our success? Well, let me just show you. So we talk about money turning in the community. Turning means how many hands does the money touch before it exits stage left to go to another community. So the community that does it better than anyone on the planet, give it up for the Chinese, because the Chinese will have that dollar touch 28 Chinese hands before it leaves the Chinese community, which is pretty incredible. Guess who's next? We've got the white folks of all flavors 17 times before it leaves the white community of any form of whiteness you want to use. Guess how long for the black community, Dr. Vibe? 6
Mm.
hours.
Wow.
6 hours. As soon as we get our money, 6 hours later our money's gone to another community. You cannot build an economic foundation for your community, for your family, for anything if 6 hours after you receive any income from any source, it's in the hands of another culture that may or may not support your culture. This is a problem.
Here's a perfect example of that. So, pop quiz people, who's the richest man in the world? I know some people are going to think, I have a feeling what some people may say, but it may catch them off guard. Who's the richest person in the world right now? Anyone have to take a guess?
According to Forbes?
Yes. Okay, so maybe people are maybe still thawing out. It's not Elon Musk. I can't remember. Bernard. I don't know I can't pronounce his name properly, but the gentleman who is the overseer of Louis Vuitton.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I see a lot of people that look like us
Mm-hmm.
sporting Louis Vuitton products. They're not just Louis Vuitton, they are Moet Champagne.
Mm-hmm.
So all these things that you see, I'm just gonna just say it in a lot of these videos of certain types.
Yep.
We are giving money. This is we get giving money to other cultures. That's
I
a
agree.
right.
So listen, you know, the definition of status is buying things you don't need with money you don't have to impress people you don't like and don't know.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
So
Okay.
we love
Okay.
status. We love status.
Mic
There's a
drop
mic drop.
there. I had to drop
We
that one there.
we
I
love
had to
status.
mic drop it there.
Listen, there's a guy by the name of Steve Siebold, and he talks about addicted to approval addiction,
Yes.
addicted to the approval of
FOMO.
others,
FOMO. The
right?
FOMO. Yep.
So fear of missing out is a little bit different. Approval of this addiction means that
Yep.
you're buying things and doing things that you believe will gain you favor with people you may not even know. That's why we drive certain brands of cars. That's why there's Honda and Acura. That's why there's Toyota and Lexus.
Mm-hmm.
right? Because if you
Yep.
drive a Toyota, you say one thing, and if you drive a Lexus, you say another, right? It's the reason that most Mercedes Benz is sold around the world is sold to black folks, other than China. Most blacks have a
Wow.
Mercedes Benz. Why? Because we know what that little star on the hood means. Now, full disclosure, I have a Benz, right? Did not buy my Benz new, bought my Benz well depreciated. People say, well, why'd you buy a Benz, Wayne? Why'd you need it? A, I'm 6'3", and this is a truck. So that's one. Two, this car, when I bought it, diesel was cheaper than gas.
Was.
So diesel was a dollar ten a liter, and I was going back and forth from Montreal every week. So
Mhm.
if I bought a premium gas car, which is what I was driving, that car would cost me more to operate than the diesel. The diesel could do Montreal and back on one tank. So me being money wise, that's why I bought it. So people can say, you could have bought anything diesel. No, there weren't diesels that were reliable. Remember, VW was in trouble
Yep.
for the diesels having problems, and BMW was notorious for problems
Yep.
with the car out of warranty. So the most reliable diesel at the time was the Benz truck. And I had 4 friends who had them, and they all swore by them. So I bought it. Then I found out about the Mercedes uh, to blacks. I'm like, oh my God, I'm caught up in the same thing, right? So it can happen to anybody. But what I want to say about black money culture is that we have a consumer culture,
Yes.
where many other ethnicities have a producer culture. Now, when we were producing for free, called slavery, we were producer culture. We were producing, farming, this, that, whatever we were doing, but we weren't getting paid for it. So once we came out of that, we decided, hey, we're not going to be producing anymore, forgetting that production would come with money. We're going to start consuming. And we started consuming brands because we felt so bad about what had happened to us in the trauma of our experience in the last 400 years in the Americas that we started accepting only top brands.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, you can't wear a shirt. It has to be a branded shirt. You can't
Yep.
wear shoes. They have to be branded
Branded
shoes,
shoes.
right? You can't have this purse. You have to have a branded purse.
Even though they're all made in the same factory and just have different things put on them.
100%.
Right. Let me just interrupt because the thawing is coming. So the comments are finally unthawing. So Fitnet's IQ Camp says, I do notice that individuals come to Canada are able to thrive while some Canadians are comfortable. She says, yes, you were late. Yes, doing the thawing out, no problem. Ray says, good morning, gentlemen. Uh, Latana, wish you could call in. Well, this platform doesn't allow calls, but if and when it does, but you're always welcome to touch base with me. You can come on a show with me. Actually, I'm sure Wayne would be more than happy. I just thought this idea, maybe one segment, you can come in and ask questions to Wayne in real time. We planned it ahead, so we invite you. So Dwayne and I will discuss this offline, but maybe next show he'll pick a topic, but also open Q&A, and you email me at a time. I'll give you the link, and you can we'll do live conversations with Wayne in real time. Not
I'm
just you
down.
can. So you have the option of doing it through your chat, or you can come in. But so definitely, Alafina goes. Mentioned smelting and metal work earlier. Why aren't these classic trades being valued and passed on like before?
Great question, Delphina. One of the things, again, we talked about status, buying things you don't need with money you don't have to impress people you don't know. Skilled trades are not held in high regard, although they pay fantastically well, some of them. They have unions, they have guaranteed incomes and pensions and all the different things that come with those things. What's going on, Ryan? So these people who are looking at blue collar versus white collar and they believe blue collar is being disparaged, they're missing so many opportunities to make real money. I mean, we're talking 6-figure incomes.
Yeah.
And guaranteed pensions, but
Yep.
no one's talking about it. And the trade schools, we had a school called Central Tech.
Oh,
Think
yeah.
about it.
Yep.
It was a technology school, and people were coming out as plumbers, as carpenters, as woodworkers, as tool and die, as painters, because we're teaching skilled trades, and they got it out of high school. So now you have to go to become an apprentice, and those programs are there. But again, no one is promoting. Everybody wants to have their kid's degree on their back wall when their friends come
Yeah.
over. Nobody wants to have the certificate that says he's a
Exactly.
mechanic, right? He's a mechanic. He went to Centennial. He's a mechanic. He went to Georgian College. He's a mechanic. He's making $100,000 in his own shop, and he's hiring people from his own community. But no one celebrates that. We're going to celebrate all the guys who wear the suits and ties on Bay Street,
And
and
that's
there's
what we're
nothing wrong
saying
with those
too.
guys, right?
Because with the labor market assessment that we did,
Right.
there's a concentration of our Black businesses in professional services. So just like you said, lawyers, accountants, consultants, but the trend, and I don't even want to call it a trend because construction is always around us. They're always building. The federal government's committed $187 billion towards infrastructure. Ontario wants to build 2.5 million homes, yet we're not in the construction industry. Instead, like you said, we have our degree, we become a professional service. And it also goes back to our parents, like you said, pushing the kids. So my parents pushing me to go to university and get that degree and not really exposing us to the trades, even though it's such a lucrative industry to be in. And there's a lot of different verticals and positions in construction. It's not all about just swinging a hammer.
Correct. Listen, every time it snows hard, and I see that guy inside the big snowblower pushing the snow down my side street, I look inside the cab to see what he looks like. And when the guy comes down to do the sidewalk, I look in the cab to see what he looks like. 9 out of 10 times he doesn't look like me.
Right.
Now, those are good government jobs. City of Mississauga, pension jobs, union jobs.
Yeah.
And this guy is going to do this job for 30 years and say
Done.
deuces in his 50s.
Yeah. Yeah.
In his 50s. And
Yeah.
have 80% of his income indexed to inflation for the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
So we're missing opportunities because we're not being guided. And again, everybody has free will. Everybody has personal responsibility for themselves to get themselves to the next level. I agree with all that. But man, oh man, can we not go and talk to the young boys and the young girls and say, hey, listen.
But wait, they ain't gonna go on. They ain't gonna take that because again, you said earlier on, with your kids, they're growing up in a world of abundance, not
100%.
like when we grew up, our parents were lacking. Right. So I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's going to be a lift. I'm not saying it can't. And the skilled trades are looking for melanated people like crazy.
Listen, when I saw them break down Eglinton West between Oakwood and Marley, and I looked at the number of people who look like us who are working on that tunnel. It's a 5, 6, 10-year project right through Little Jamaica. And there's none of us working on that thing.
Right.
Listen, I don't drive down there because it's just madness. But listen, I was looking for hard hats, even to say slow stop with the sign.
You know how much money they make? You know how much money they make?
Exactly.
Just like people, you think when you're going to construction site, people, and you see the guys flipping and that, they make more than you probably. I almost guarantee they make more than you for flipping a sign.
That's all I'm saying. So all I'm saying is, if you look at Black money culture, we want to make money. Everybody has that goal, but we want to make money in what I consider to be very, very sexy ways. They don't want to make money in unsexy ways.
Right.
They want to make money in ways that showcase style and fashion and status.
No, Ric Flair, styling and profiling.
Right.
As my father would say, pomp-setting. Right?
So that's where, like you said, construction is just one industry out of the ones that we're not exposed to. And you would think school, because there's 42 different industries, yet we're concentrated in like 3 or 4. But school should be where we're exposed to all different types of avenues to go into. But usually we're not. We're very limited.
I'm going to cut because there's comments like crazy now, which is good. The thought is happening. So Hayden says, when you consider our history of trauma, we're doing great as a people. No other people has dealt with this level of trauma. Ray, I know you have a question, but I'm going to leave that till the end. Sean, Ivy, Is it a stretch to make the argument that we must first address the cultural norms such as short-term gratification? As a Black person all day long, good to know. Would they accept as compensation $2K per week for life or $1 million now? A million wins all day long.
Fair enough. I think that you have to look at where people are at. You know, if you can't see down the end of your street, you can't see the opportunities between where you live and York University or where you live in U of T. So some people have very narrow focus because they are lower down the food chain than you are. If someone has water, they're better than someone who is in the desert and cannot get water. But if someone has water and food, then water and food and shelter, then water, food, shelter, and vehicle. You understand? So where are the people coming from? Right? We're not monolithic. Not everybody's at the same level. Not everybody owns a house and has multiple cars. Not everybody is living in a shelter. There's a lot of in between those two, and we got to figure out where you're at and where you want to go, and then we need to build a plan.
Well, not only that way, but even before that, you got to start.
Right? Starting without a plan is ignorance on fire.
Okay, drop it.
Yes. So I would prefer that if you're gonna run, like think about Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt,
maybe not the greatest example when it comes to finances now, but that's another conversation.
Right?
Okay,
but put it this way: if Usain Bolt comes onto the track, right, dressed appropriately for a 100-meter dash, but it's a marathon, and he comes out of the gate the way he comes out for 100 meters, he can run maybe 110 meters and that's it. There's another 26 miles of race to run.
Right.
Understand? You have to be dressed and ready for the appropriate race. So a lot of us are not ready for the appropriate race. If you think about the most expensive geography for Canada for real estate is Toronto. Well, you have to be ready for Toronto, and Toronto has a stress test. And the stress test, you need to know where you are, where's your credit, where's your down payment, how much house can you afford, and then you go looking for houses. You don't go looking for houses and then say, let me go find the money. No, you.
Right, yes.
Right? So we're not going to run. We need to plan, then we run. Right. Are you running a 100-meter race? You need this accoutrement. You're running a marathon, you need this accoutrement. They're both black. They're both races, but you have to plan your attack differently.
But that's like you're saying, that's even before you get to the track. You're training for the specific race. So yeah, that's very important.
So think about this. We have banquet halls, right? All over Toronto.
Oh boy.
Right? We have banquet halls.
Oh no.
Some of them
you're getting close to Ryan's favorite subject, galas. Go on, Wayne. All right.
Some of them belong to us. Some of them belong to us, and we actually can have our wedding or our event in our banquet hall, right? On occasion. But imagine this. Imagine if we found out which was the most in-demand skill trade, right? The most in-demand skill trade. Reduce the size of the banquet hall and had machinery and whatnot there, because the banquet halls usually aren't used Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. They're used in the evenings, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And we had a space where either the lowest barrier to entry to a skill trade or the most sought after skill in skill trade. And we had a training academy at the back of the JCA, at the back of Tropicana, or whoever else owns one of these halls. And all we did was run kids through this thing and put them and place them in apprenticeship programs all over the GTA. And we duplicated that in Montreal and Ottawa and all other places where we had critical mass.
Yep.
Do you think we could change a lot in life for the generation behind us by giving them access to steady income, well-paying, where there's going to be politics everywhere? But imagine we're giving them the etiquette training as well. We're giving them everything they need so that they can function in a world where everybody doesn't look like the three of us on this screen. Do you think that might change a lot in life for a lot of those people?
Absolutely. And not only that, though, after you spend a number of years in those professions, you can start your own business because you learn the best practices to go out on your own.
Correct. So we're not going to train people how to be, we're going to train people how to be great followers so they can become great leaders. So you become an employee of someone who is running a business, and the sole purpose of that person running a business is to set you up with your own business. Now, if they see you as competition, scarcity sets in. But if they see you as augmenting demand, could you say, listen, you taught me to be a plumber, Joe. I worked for you for 5, 10 years. I became a master plumber, just like you. I'm not going to open up across the street. I'm going to open. You trained me in Scarborough. I'm going to open up in Brampton.
Mm.
Right? Next guy comes through. He says, I'm not going to open up in Scarborough, Joe, and cut your throat. I'm going to open up in Whitby.
Yeah.
Right? So we spread it out so everybody wins. Think
Yeah.
about other cultures.
Yeah, what
They're
they do.
everywhere.
Yeah. We just the model is there. We just have to have the mindset to duplicate it, right?
Yeah.
So let's catch up on comments here. Fitnant's IQ Cam apparently became the richest person during the pandemic. That's Bernard Arnault is his name, head of LVM, Louis Vuitton Enterprises. She says also, call it as it is. We rather liabilities than assets. Boswell says, say it for the people at the back, saying to Wayne, saying straight gems. Also, diamonds, Aldefina, gems. Here's a good thing from Donna. Let me give you a Toronto example. A Black company came into a community to give back by providing less expensive internet and cable. The community refused because they didn't trust that company could produce. Some people are paying how much?
Yes.
$600 a month to
Yes.
Rogers and Bell and still have poor service. Not healing, accepting oppression keeps us poor and stagnant in positions that don't help them or their families. Oh my!
Wow.
$600 a month.
Wow, that
Easy.
needs to be addressed.
Listen. You got 4 cell phones. 4 cell phones in my house. 4. Right? And you have basic. You have to have internet that works. So you notice all 3 of us have internet that's not glitching, it's not freezing, because I have gigabit speed with a company that rhymes with Wodgers. I will not give them a big up. Wodgers, it rhymes with Wodgers. That's who I'm with. But I pay more than that $600 for 4 phones, high speed internet, and a little bit of a basic cable, because I have one of those boxes. But when I get a circle of patience, I can't. I need to know what's going on with whatever's going on TV, and it's really just for the few live things I need to watch. Otherwise, I can get everything from the box.
Right.
But my goal was to cut my cable years ago, and I have the cell phones, again, because I'm in business for myself. Cell phones are write-off.
Yep.
So the fact that I'm paying, for gourmet internet and gourmet cell phones, those are write-offs. So yes, I'm paying it, but the government is paying me back for those things. It's those people who have these services and don't have the write-off that really have me baffled. I want to say a couple of things.
Okay, just interrupting. Do you have some time for bonus time? Because there's a lot of questions there's a lot of questions that are flying in now. So
we're good.
Go ahead, Wayne. Say what you have to say, and we'll get back to the family.
So I want you to think about something. 3 things can happen to people, and the culture. You can die too soon, right? You can die too soon, and you're gonna leave a money pit of debt, or you're gonna leave wealth. 2, you could become ill. If you become ill, things change. If you don't have disability, critical illness, and these sort of things, OHIP will take care of you to a point, but OHIP's not going to pay your bills. It's going to keep you alive. When you come out, the bills are still there. Then the third thing that can happen to you is you can live too long. That means you have more life than money, which is a fate worse than death for some people. Right? So people need to understand that if you understand how money works, you can put yourself in position so that when you're done working, you drop your hammer, you drop your tool, you drop your stethoscope, you drop whatever, your calculator if you're an engineer, your computer, money is still coming in and is not dependent on Trudeau or whoever's in power at the time. Otherwise, you will work till you die. I'm trying to help people not work until they die by building an income that comes in whether they get out of bed or not. And when I see people 18 to 30 years old up in the club popping bottles rather than putting that money away, they don't understand the power of compounding and how in my 50s, you know how much money I have to put away to make the money that an 18-year-old who puts away? No, people say 18-year-old don't have no $100. Put away 50. Put away 25. Put away
Start.
something.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to
You still
see
further ahead.
I don't want to see $200 shoes on your feet and no money in your bank.
Mm.
I don't want to
That's-
see rims
yeah,
on your
that's-
car
Yeah.
and no money in your bank.
Yeah.
I don't want to see you paying $26,000, $30,000, $3,000 a month for a condo and your parents still have a mortgage and the condo's not yours. You're paying rent, so you could be in the mix.
Wow.
Doesn't make any sense. So black money culture needs to be more strategic and less tactical,
Okay.
right? It needs to be more collective and less individual.
Yeah.
So who was that person you saw walking down the street? It sounds like you're talking to somebody very specific.
All right.
I hope they're watching.
Let me catch up with comments here. There's some serious questions. Fitness IQ Camp says, I once worked in an elevator company and dealt with payroll. It was like, whoa, the payroll numbers. Aldafina says, it's a mind shift. All this first world, third world is separated by industrialization. We are building and moving cities into the shadows. Dr. Vibe, I truly believe that the next gen gotta see hidden black folks. Remember, NASA only got the moon black mathematical calculators behind the scenes.
Right.
Okay.
Hidden
Colin
figures.
Williams says, we are born with our gifts inside of us, and it will make room for you. I hope.
Yes.
Ray says, the conversation is deserving of a panel. Black folks aren't a monolith, and our journeys, even from the Caribbean, are very different. Throw in Africans and Black Americans, and it becomes more complex. Aldafina says, let us do STEM training centers. We are stronger together. Our network is net worthy, truly. What's up goes, ouch, Wayne. Donna says, we are talking about training academies in a neighborhood that I work. We are building a new center. We need help getting sponsorship for a training floor on our new center.
Okay. Gotcha.
Aldafina says, LOL, circle of patience. LOL, gourmet phones.
Exactly.
And Aldafina says, this convo is for the culture. Very well. See, and that's, this whole word culture. We need to get some panel conversations, especially, was it a few Fridays ago when Wayne was in the audience, Roger was in the audience, and Ray was on live. That was fire. And I've had conversations with Roger about saying, no, we need to do a panel. Well, we need to get y'all on. But question, Tim Frey. Good morning, gents. So accountability. Did any of you gents push your kid to go into those trade careers?
Great question, Tim. No lies. My son, when he was in grade 10, was firing at a college level. So he was looking to go towards skilled trades. And then he met a black engineer by chance in Indigo. And the engineer said, what do you love doing? He goes, I love to code. He goes, well, if you love to code, you should consider computer science. And that he pivoted to computer science. My daughter was always firing academically at the top 1 or 2% in her schools at all levels, at all schools. So she wanted to be an engineer or a doctor. She chose engineering. Again, it's a skilled trade, but it's a skilled trade from the university level because engineers are a skilled trade, right? But it's a skilled trade coming through the university channel than coming through the trade school or the college level. What we have to do is we have to look at all types of intelligence, not just IQ, which is all we're looking at for our people right now, based on a standard that if you can read, write, and count better than anybody else, you should go towards university and STEM. Yes, but what about emotional intelligence? What about spatial intelligence? What about musical intelligence? What about artistic intelligence? There's many intelligences, and we need to figure out what our natural gifts are and work towards our proclivity for that genius and that intelligence. And that's what we're not taking the time to learn about ourselves and our kids because we're too busy scrambling economically. It's a luxury to have the time to do that introspection, reflection, and inspection. But if you're scrambling to find bread, you don't have time for all that. You're going to pick the closest thing to make money. So you end up working in a warehouse because it pays $20 an hour or $25 an hour to drive a forklift. And you think that's money when you're by yourself. But have a kid. It's over.
Mm.
$300,000 to raise a kid to 18.
That's US.
All right. 300
That's
grand.
US.
Ryan, you got a few of them. So when you do the
Mm.
math on daycare and school and activities and all these things, plus university, you do the math, you'll see you're close to that number. A couple of
Okay.
things I want to say before we get to the next point from Sean.
Okay.
Remember I talked to you guys about debt a few shows ago, that for every dollar of income coming in, a percentage was going out to debt, and the percentage was higher than what was coming in. Last time I came on here and I talked about debt to income, it was 1.73. Guess what it is now, thanks to the policies of the federal government and the economy? 1.82. For every dollar you bring in, 1.82 is going to debt for the average Canadian. Did you know that? Yeah.
We're going backwards.
Exactly.
We're sinking, not backwards. We're sinking.
And by the way, blacks as a monolith, I know that Macmillan Group was talking about the different groups. As a monolith, blacks, as according to the 2016 census, make 87 cents for every dollar a white person makes. So we're making less money, and we're spending $1.82 for every dollar we get. The recipe for disaster. Go ahead, Dr. Vibe.
And a few other things. Though it's U.S. statistics, I don't think it's probably different here in Canada.
No, that's Canadian statistics, my friend.
Well, no, but I'm just quoting something from the U.S. that U.S. economically, the lowest value, like economically economic group in America are single black mothers.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And who's just about that? Single black fathers.
Mm-hmm.
So culture is involved in that. Sean says, indeed, my point exactly. We need to address the short-term gratification culture. Regardless of where you're from or the state of economic status, it's important that the mindset is geared toward goals, objectives, supported by a plan.
Yes, sir.
And Wassell again goes, ouch, Wayne. So
sorry.
It's all there. So Macmillan Group asks, we are aware of all the issues and obstacles and the perceived traumas. What are the recommended solutions and how do we implement and move forward with purpose?
Great question. And I think we discussed that early on in the show when people were still asleep or still cold. But
frozen solid.
To get back to that, to the answer really is knowledge. So where is the knowledge? And again, there's information out there, there's data out there, but who's going to correlate it for you? Listen, we know that Malcolm Gladwell said this, 10,000 hours in any field is going to make you an expert. Dr. Vibe, you've been podcasting for more than 10,000 hours, which is why your podcast is amazing. Now, we know that our people in our community, to get to 10,000 hours in anything is going to take people who have immediate gratification. Now, I want to be a rapper. I'm gonna write bars for 2 weeks. I didn't become a rapper. I'm out. Right? I'm gonna be a basketball player. I'm gonna try one summer league, and I didn't score 30 points like Michael Jordan. I can't dunk 360. I'm out. So short-term gratification. We need to have discipline, but discipline comes with goals and plans and strategies. And then when you couple that with someone who has been there before you and showing you where the landmines are and how to avoid them, you get to accelerate. So a lot of people are pioneers. So think about this. Think about someone with a machete going through the woods, cutting down, going through the jungle. But 10 feet to the right of them is a paved highway and a Ferrari with no one in it with a full tank of gas and a GPS showing them where their goal is. But rather than walk to the right, because no one's tapped them on the shoulder and say, turn to the right, there's a Ferrari and a paved road on an Autobahn. You can go as fast as you want. Unlimited gas, unlimited GPS. But they got the machete and they say, I'm working hard. I'm doing my thing. I'm making it happen. This is what our race is doing, what every other race is getting in their car because someone tapped them on the shoulder and said, hey, the car is there. That's the road. That's the goal. Go get it done. Now, I'm not saying we don't do that, but I'm going to say Pareto's law, 80-20. 80% of us don't have someone pointing to the Ferrari. 80% of us are pioneers cutting through the jungle by ourselves, financially, marriage-wise, health-wise. We're eating all the sugar, getting the diabetes, getting the heart attack, doing all the things. And other people are in the Ferrari towards health, the Ferrari towards a great marriage and relationship, Ferrari towards economic stability, a Ferrari towards generational wealth. We have people in our community who are in the Ferraris as well. The challenge is when the Ferrari sees someone at the side of the road, the Ferrari does not pull over, put on the four-way flashes, go over and say, hey, buddy, come out the jungle. Come in the passenger seat for a little bit. Let me show you. And when we roll up, we're going to roll up and there'll be a Ferrari for you. And you keep driving. Your job is to do what we did. Each one, teach one. Now giving you access to your Ferrari, you need to drive both of us on the road. We see someone with the machete. We pull over. We bring them in the car. We go and we keep doubling the cars. This is why people have done in the last 25, 30 years in the GTA. Other cultures, I won't name any cities, but it rhymes with Frampton. They have done in 30 years what we couldn't do in over 100 being here. We've been here since from time, and the West Indians more so from the 60s till now. From the 60s, that's 50, 60 years we've been here, and they have institutions and infrastructure in place in record time. Why? Because they don't come up with machetes. They say, I know a Ferrari's coming. While I'm waiting for the Ferrari, I'm going to learn how to drive. While we're just picking up machetes and start cutting. I'm not saying self-starting is not admirable. I'm saying that why would you want to be a pioneer when all you have to do is duplicate what someone else has done and someone is willing to show you what to do to save you time, money, and energy? We have to duplicate the excellence. And what we're doing is everyone's excellent and hoarding the information is what you'll hear about our community. I became excellent. Hey, listen, I did it by myself. You should go do it by yourself. I'm not giving you
silos.
Right. So I'm not going to give you a bly. I'm going to let you work as hard as I did because I struggled, so you should struggle. I'm not going to let you get to where I am faster than I got there.
Yeah.
And this is where people get the crabs in the barrel. Here's what I'm saying. Everything I have in my head, I will give you. I will give you. And if I can give it to you at 20 or 19 or 25 or 30, I will save you hours and years of time. All I ask of you is that when I give you this information from my head and I introduce you to the people to accelerate your success, remember what I did for you and do it for somebody else. That's all I'm asking.
Facts.
That's all I'm asking.
Absolutely.
Facts. I think that's a great way to close it out today. Wessel says, ouch, Wayne. And Wessel says, we are here for the hard facts. Also says, no paying, no gain. We are paying attention. Donna says, let me just, Donna says that there's always a wall before you get to the Ferrari. Wessel says, ouch, Frampton facts. Say it. The office is getting really rowdy here. Y'all better than espresso.
Jeez.
And Donna says, duplicate excellence, but not the oppression. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
Donna, you need to use that religiously wherever you go. That is good.
I want to end on this point here.
Sure.
One, when you're young, right, 18 to 30, you won't have any money because you're paying the price to get the skills you need, right? Don't worry about gal dem. Don't worry about man dem. Work on the skills you need that you're going to monetize for the next part of your life. So you're going to have no money. You're going to have a lot of time because you could live to 100, and you're going to have great health in general. So you're going to have no money, lots of time, lots of health. In middle age, you're going to have a little bit of money, a little bit of time, and a little bit of health. You should be good to go. It's going to be about equal. But when you're older, you're going to have a bag of cash if you do it properly. But you're not going to have any time, and your health is going to be failing. So we need to look at the first phase to build a foundation for the next two phases. And what's happening is the first phase is not being satisfied because no one is putting money away and investing for phase 2 and phase 3. And that's why phase 3 is as awful as phase 1. No money, but now you have failing health and you have no time.
You have the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very scary for our
Yep.
seniors. Very scary.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. What's happening to a lot of melanated seniors is sad. Like, I'm blessed. My dad taught for 38 years, pension, everything. He's good.
Right.
He's good. He's good.
Gotcha.
I wish he would have taught me what he was doing when I was younger.
Yeah.
But you know, at least I where I start, I use his example. So very, very good. Donna says, thanks for always a great discussion. Sean says, yes, ask your granny.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Any more comments do you have, Mr. Knight? You joined us a little bit late today. Anything you want to add?
No. I think that was a great place to wrap up.
Landed.
And there's some Ray asked about the solutions, and Wayne, you mentioned about the knowledge. I feel we do have to create space for us to give that knowledge. If you look at other cultures, they create separate spaces, and I mean like institutional spaces, like
Yeah.
after school, actual private schools, Saturday school.
Yeah.
We should really lean into that so that we can be purposeful about sharing notes.
No, shout out to the BBPA. They're doing their thing with that, and they have some programs in place. It doesn't. I'm looking to do some work with them going forward to see if we can get.
Okay. Also, we need to
Nice.
talk back channel also, because I may have one or two opportunities for you with some organizations too.
Right, but we know the information's out there. We have to start. There's no have tos in life. I would recommend that we get on the bus, get wherever we're gonna go, find a used bookstore. Used. Why? Because everything's gonna be 25 cents in the dollar. And go to the section on personal finance and find something after 2009. So before 2009, you're going to see a couple of books. One is The Wealthy Barber, David Chilton, before 2009.
David Chilton, I remember that book.
Right. He's not going to talk about TFSAs because TFSAs weren't around until 2009, but he's going to give you a foundation, budgeting, and some of the basic things you need to do. Then there's another gentleman by the name of Robert Kiyosaki. He's going to have a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yep.
Right. So you want to read that to understand that a single family home where you're paying mortgage to the bank is not an asset in the sense of cash flow, because cash is flowing out, not flowing in. Rental properties are cash flowing positive. So when you have a duplex, you live in one and you rent the other piece, that's money coming in, and that asset is cash flowing positively. So the key is not just the asset and the appreciation of the asset, it's the cash flowing aspect. And Toronto is one of the few places in the world where you can get the asset to appreciate in value and have positive cash flow. It's a great place to invest if you know what you're doing. A little overpriced now, but you need to look at that. So Robert Chilton, The Wealthy Barber,
David Chilton.
David Chilton, and Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you can get through those two books, then the third book I would recommend highly to anyone is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
And also, I would just add to that, Thinking Road Rich, A Black Choice,
Dennis Kimbrough. Right. And you go look at those three books, and if you take the time, everybody on here, and go through those three books, if you read them, read them again, if you're not where you want to be. But if you haven't read them, I would recommend those three books because it's going to give you a foundation and a framework for asking yourself the hard questions about where I am, where I want to be, how to get there, and who can I enlist to help me get there. And if you're thinking on that vibe, you're going to manifest those people in your life. I wasn't looking for vibe, and he wasn't looking for me. I wasn't looking for you. You weren't looking for me. But we were manifesting people in our lives who are on the same wavelengths to move the agenda forward for the culture. And that's how we all end up in the same room today with the people who are asking the questions here. Absolutely. So we're doing the right things. We just need to get more of it done, and we need to show people how to do what we're doing at a younger age.
Yeah. Got to realize it's bigger than us. You have to come into that attitude. It's got to be bigger than us. Big time. All right. Wayne's contact information is there. Book an appointment with him. There's his email address. Also Instagram, Wayne again. Look at this. Some more things here. Wasel goes, Wayne, they're banging on the tables. This is food for the soul. Well, why don't you make an appointment with Wayne? You're giving him all the love. Did you make an appointment with Wayne? Come on now.
We're already done. We're already both W's, Waswell and Wayne, right?
There
Sounds
you
like a
go.
law firm.
Yeah.
And then also Christopher says a few comments before the duplicate excellence, not oppression. Back foot and front foot.
Facts.
And Sean says, yes, have a pleasant afternoon, team. This is Wayne's contact information again, Wayne, especially during this challenging time with your dad's health. Thank you for taking the time. Definitely, I'm going to suggest some potential opportunities for you to speak with organizations because they need your knowledge, and especially with entrepreneurs, they need to have your knowledge in place. So thank you so much. Remember to give yourself grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and especially love to Angie and your wonderful family.
Thank you. Happy Black History Month to both of you gentlemen and everybody on the call. Thank you for coming on and participating.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. And Colin says, thanks for the knowledge. Well, again, reach out to him. I'm going to put his contact information there one time. I want at least one person who hasn't to reach out, even half an hour of your time. Look at the value you're getting. Look at the gems he's dropping right here, the facts. Get him one-on-one and he can speak personally to you.
Perfect.
Take care, Wayne.
Solid.
Be well. All right, man. That was good.
Yes. And we have to lean into the question that Ray asked is what always must come out of these conversations. It's great to talk about the challenges, but we definitely have to move into the solutions. But this is a great platform just to hear from the community and brainstorm together. I love it.
Yeah, this has been really good. Like I said, it was a little slow to go this morning. I know people were going to fall, but as it got going, the family came in. The family came in and dropped the knowledge bombs. So what's been going on with you?
Hey, I've been on my ACBN media tour, trying to get to as many Black History events as possible.
Oh, Gala boy. Gala, gonna call you Gala guy.
The Gala watch is on. So I do want to shout out the Whitby Chamber of Commerce, the Ajax Board of Trade, and Clarington. They all came together to do a Black History Month event.
Wow, they came together.
Putting Brampton, and I will call out Frampton to shame because I don't know what they're doing. I haven't heard anything, but Durham was planning this Black History Month event since May. Let that sink in.
Wow.
May. I've talked to organizations last week that said, "Oh, we're thinking of putting together a Black History Month." Listen, people, either you're taking this seriously, or what did Camille Dundas say? You're performing. So that showed me that they really do care. They put on a great event. Isaac Olawolafe was speaking. Randall Ajay was there giving a presentation, which I loved because typically you just hear him like recite a poem. Yeah. But he got space to do a full presentation and gave some history on Black History Month. And it was, man, people were getting chills. Like I was getting chills, so I'm sure others. But yeah, the MP Shafkat Ali had a conversation. So he's an MP in Brampton Center.
Yeah.
He brought some people to talk about Black history. The MPs are putting together a bigger event, so we'll see what that looks like. And where else was I? Oh, we've been doing the online panels with Black History 365.
Okay.
So at noon every day, there's been different panels. So yeah, good conversations happening abound.
Okay, good stuff. Waswell says Frampton is official. Some are playing plays. Say it, Ryan. So we're winding down, but another great conversation. What's up for your weekend?
Yes, so tonight is First Fridays. We are doing it online, but also in person in Brampton. So would love to network and engage with people in person. Again, it's not the same online. When you do get to see people in person, it's definitely a difference. So if you're in Brampton or want to make the trek, definitely check that out. And the weekend is really, there's a launch of a tea shop, a lady named Lana.
Yes, Steve's Tea.
Steve T. Yeah. Yes. So I got that invite and might figure out a way to get out.
Well, I actually have to go to a funeral tomorrow morning, so I can't make it. But I'm so Lana is actually we should get Lana on here. Yeah, I'm gonna ask each other. Yeah, we're gonna get Lana on here. Yeah. But yeah, What am I up to today? I have to help someone move appliances out in the cold, which should be entertaining.
Oh dear.
And then
So you better dress proper, please.
well, I'm gonna need to have that oven work after so I can warm myself up and thaw.
Yeah.
Also, what else we got? Tomorrow night, State of Things, Aisha, Jill, and Lala. Sunday, we have Black Canada talking with Cesar and Sarah. We won't get into too much detail here, but maybe we talk about on Monday because we don't have a scheduled guest yet. But if we don't, remember a few months ago I was talking to you about the $200 million?
Oh dear, oh dear. That
we
has
won't.
started to bubble.
So you saw the post by Black Opportunity Fund?
I've seen some emails. I've heard that a letter has gone out. I haven't read the letter. It's getting spicy.
Was I right?
You nailed it. You called it.
That was from months ago. From months ago.
Where we have to, man.
I was in conversation with someone yesterday who has influence in the Black Canadian community, saying the Liberals are not going to win the next election.
Oh boy. Okay.
He says this is going to make a lot of people, Black people who are in corporate world, say goodbye Liberals because of that. Well, nothing's been confirmed. Well, the funny thing is nothing's been officially announced, but it seems that enough is going down with that. It hasn't gone live, but
people that got declined know that they got declined. So now the heat is rising. So we don't know who got the actual.
Well, I have heard inside that the organization got approved, but we'll talk a little bit about this on Monday because I've heard some things and it's not a good look.
Oh, brother.
Not a good look. So, as always, you can watch replays of this, the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook and YouTube, Afro-Caribbean Business Network on Facebook and YouTube, Ryan Oneil Night on YouTube. So Monday, we don't have a scheduled guest yet, but enough is going on for us to just chat, family. Enough is going on.
We should find somebody that can explain what an endowment fund is, because I still would like to learn. But
that's a good question. As always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and like it on Facebook. If you do it on YouTube, push the notification button. Also join me if you can on February 16th to talk all things podcasting. Join me for the last part of this 3-part highly active free series. And I think that's it. So we are done. Do you like your little thing underneath your name?
I did a little addition.
You got to put executive director of ACBN.
Oh,
I know you dominate media. They'll probably think you're the executive director of the Morning Vibe, but
that's true.
All right. And also, huge thanks to Elemental Notes for sponsoring today's conversation. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher and wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourself grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. We will see you on Monday. Be well.